Good morning, all. Donny here, and today I want to talk about five self-abandoning habits I practiced as a deeply empathetic, chronic people pleaser. Now, I used to think that people pleasing was the way to be a good friend. I never really realized that it could be a form of self-abandonment until it nearly became my entire personality. I was the friend who always understood, who always forgave, who always made excuses, and who always gave people another chance. And what I didn't realize at the time that was that my empathy wasn't healing me. I had actually allowed it to become one of the things that harmed me and hurt me. And these are five ways that I practiced self harm at the time without ever laying a hand on myself. The first one was that I almost never said no. If saying yes would make somebody else happy, I would do it. Even if saying yes was to my detriment, even if it exhausted me, even if it cost me my peace. I used to think that having boundaries was selfish because that is what my parents taught me. They even used to say that, oh, having boundaries or being private is demonic, and that I had no right to have anything that was just for me. And like saying no was, I wasn't ever allowed to refuse things that I did not want. I had to want it if somebody else wanted it. So I carried that into my adulthood. And even though earlier I wasn't talking to my parents as much, I still allowed certain things that happened in the dynamic that existed between my parents and I to repeat itself in my friendships and my relationships. So yeah, I didn't realize that constantly abandoning myself to affirm or validate somebody else was also a form of self-harm. Number two, I excuse disrespect. I used to always find a way to logicalize the terrible things that people did to me. Like I used to live with somebody who would hug the bed and she would excuse it and I would let it go. She would eat my food when I have, but starve me when she had, and I would excuse it. Somebody who keeps dragging me online, Sefi, at the time that I was in her house, like it got to a point where I used to need her permission to drink pure water from her fridge, and I allowed it. So like this and a lot more used to happen to me, and I'll just brush it off and like accept people's lack of compassion or understanding towards me because I'll tell myself that they had a valid reason to do whatever they were doing to me. And so it became that my compassion became an excuse to accept treatment that I would never meet out on somebody else. The third thing I did was I ignored my pain until I exploded. Instead of saying to somebody that, oh, no, this thing that you did, I don't fuck with it too, I will ignore it. I'll just swallow it and keep it and swallow it and keep it till one day chaos will show themselves and explode. And it always came back to bite me in the ass because nobody cares that you have endured a lot of pain when you finally explode because they expect you to always have your emotions in check. And the fact that you may have had your emotions in check for like a month, 2 months doesn't matter to people. So that was something that I used to do a lot of time. Again, I would swallow disrespect and inconsideration and selfishness until I snap. And then all of a sudden, I would become the angry one when in reality, I had been silently bleeding for months. Number four, I made it a point to become a safe space for people who weren't safe for me. Because people felt very comfortable confiding in me, leaning on me, asking things of me, even though I couldn't do the same for them. My relationships were very one sided, extremely one sided. There was never any balance in the relationships that I had. And I allowed it because that was what I understood as love. That was what I was taught that love was. And yeah, I would harbor people who had intentions to harm me. That's what I used to do. I used to harbor people who had intentions to harm me, even though they showed me time and time again that they were harmful for me. The fifth one is that I poured myself into healing everyone except me. I became so focused on understanding other people's wounds that I neglected my own. My pain didn't disappear because I ignored it. It only became deeper. It only became very deep, festering ulcers in my soul that I now have to spend the time that I refused to spend earlier attending to them. I have to spend that time now. I have to do that now. And making videos like this is one of the ways that I address my inner wounds so that they heal. So looking back, I don't think that my empathy was a problem. The problem was that my empathy almost never included me. I never considered myself as somebody worthy of the amount of love, care, kindness, consideration that I gave everybody else. So I am making this video for people who are like me. If you are deeply empathetic and are prone to people pleasing, let this be your reminder. Compassion isn't supposed to flow in only one direction. You are allowed to be somebody worth protecting too. And that protection starts with yourself. Yeah. I hope that this video was enlightening and eye-opening to you. Follow for more tips. Bye.